Hey folks, uh, there's this pretty neat tool that I found online called Dash. Very often I'm in some pretty remote places without internet, and as I'm working on a software project, it'll be great if I have access to documentation while offline. I may not always be able to Google or Stack Overflow stuff, and so this tool has really helped me, especially on this web app that I'm working on currently. Yeah, and so for any website, um, something I need currently is documentation for HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the current backend that I'm using is Ruby on Rails. So let's take a look at how this tool works for getting documentation and kind of searching through that for those four technologies. All right, so this is the flow for downloading doc sets. I've already downloaded HTML, CSS, Ruby, and JavaScript. Let me just search those to show you that they've been downloaded. So there's HTML, there's CSS. And let's just choose a framework that I don't have yet. So let's do React. Let's download that. I don't actually need React for this project, but I just wanted to show you the download step. And yeah, so you can see that JavaScript's also downloaded. And then now you can click Manage Datasets. Here's all the doc sets that I have, and you can go into one and you can start browsing. So this is like what the documentation looks like for React. Yeah, there we go. All right, and we're in business. Okay, so let's do something that I would need to do in real life. So I'm making some forms on my website, and I just put in input into the tab or into the search box, and you can see the full documentation that's available. And let's see what's next. I can search for the hover functionality for CSS. Looks like CSS hover doesn't work, but maybe if I type hover, there we go. And now I can get the documentation for hover. Let's take a look at React Lifecycle. So I just search React Lifecycle, and I'm able to find basically the docs that tell you about the different lifecycle methods. And again, let me just turn off the Wi-Fi just to make sure that this works. There we go. The hyperlinks on the page also look like they work. Yeah. So let's take a look at Active Record on Rails. Okay, looks like that exists. Let's look for scopes. I guess I'm not able to find any documentation of scopes. Maybe I have to maybe this is something that Google offers that, this offline tool doesn't. Let me look up routing. Okay, looks good. Here's the routing page for Rails. And let's see if I can just look at just the main page for Ruby on Rails. And let's see what's available. So again, I'm offline right now. And let's see, I have active record. I've got some view form helpers. Looks like the entire documentation is there. Let's see what else we got. I think I already clicked into this active record. Release notes. Okay, so let's say 6.1. Okay, looks like they have the notes there. Let's see if they have previous release versions. Oh, they do. 3.2, that also works. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I'm just gonna look up text area because I need like a text box that's kind of big. And yeah, I can actually find it. So that's pretty cool. I think there are certain phrases that you have to get good at typing in. For example, you can't do CSS hover, you can just do hover. But for the most part, it works pretty quick, and I'm able to find at least some documentation if I really need it, if I'm offline. All right, in this next part, I'm gonna talk about the makers of this tool. So I think it's Capelli, and I was able to find this blog post where it looks like it was launched in 2013 August, and then let's just scroll down 4 years later. There's some stats on how many people, not exactly how many people, but kind of how Dash was distributed. What are the different folks from different countries that have used it, and some server costs and like which tool which developers use the most. Um, there's a blog post on the deprecation of support for this tool on iOS. Looks like there was some new update that kind of made it really hard to maintain for iOS 12. And yeah, also doing other Google searches, I was able to find their GitHub, and Homebrew is like another way that Dash is distributed, and from that I can actually see how often the versions are incremented. And if you see you know patches or minor versions being made, or even major versions being made every few months, every few weeks, that's a sign of a really um, cared for and maintained software project. And so yeah, and then looking at this, I'm not exactly sure how many developers there are, but looks like there's one main one and a few other ones that occasionally support. But yeah, that's who you'll be supporting if you buy this tool. All right, so that was a slightly different video this time. Hope you enjoyed it. This is just a tool that I found myself using a lot actually during my 3 days here offline. And so yeah, thank you. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about or investigate, please leave a comment. And as always, please subscribe. It goes a long way in supporting more videos like this. Thanks.